fraternity, I'm sure most of my friends in this group must be getting tons and tons of WhatsApp messages which talks about how do we get back to work and what do we do once we get back to work. I'm sure everybody has this particular stuff in their WhatsApp and email. But what we are trying to tell you guys here is that we are in no hurry to go back to offices. Most of the offices in Bangalore are planning to go back on 4th May, which is basically the first wave. What we have done is we have created the entire employee fraternity into 3 waves. Wave 1, Wave 2, Wave 3. The Wave 1 will consist of most of the non-critical staff which are coming back to the offices. We have asked employees to come back, employees who have their own transport, because we do not want to have a transport where this disease becomes again contagious. So that is one part of coming back to normal, Shashi. And what we have also done here is that by speaking to the experts in the industry and also getting to know from the industry leaders, we have also started up cleaning up our offices, putting things in place. For example, today we have a guideline saying that when an employee comes back, we should have 6 feet distance in the workstations. We are working towards that. If we have our own campus, then the challenges are very less. But if you are in a multi-tenanted facility, the challenges are more. You need to integrate your ideas with the builder and make sure that you build a complete foolproof mechanism so that the employee understands what's happening around him, which is very, very important for facility managers like us to communicate and make employees to understand. I know everybody is aware what he has to do because health is utmost priority for everybody. But at some point of time, human being is completely nervous and he tend to do some mistakes because of the ambience. So we have done workstation management. We have also ensured that we have completely restructured our cafeteria management. And also in our tempo travelers, we are planning to switch off the air conditioning irrespective of the outside climate and make sure that we also maintain social distancing. The whole stuff here rolls back, Shashi, that when we get the employees back, we still have the same office, but we need to convert the existing office in such a way that the social distancing and the health of the employee is taken care and employee feels that there are people around him, especially the facility managers who are there to support them. That's what my take, Shashi.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. And I personally believe and I agree with you that the moment post-lockdown, when we go back to our offices, if we will find a different way of working. See, what this lockdown, Jay, has done is that it has changed the way we perceive our spaces. The way we are going to work from those spaces, as you said, 6 feet office, 6 feet distance is going to be demanded. And it is going to kind of a situation where the young generation, the new employee, and the talent pool is looking for a social distancing as a norm. And that's what happened in case of earlier changes in office industry, where we came from the cubicles we came to open office and agile system. Definitely is going to change. And this 21 days and now the next lockdown too has changed our city into different way. The way our perspective has also changed. I shared these images to you from the Twitter account of an IS lady, and this is what our Bangalore looks like right now. But do you think this is going to be the new normal, Jay? No, I don't think so. What do you think?
No, Shashi, it's very hard to digest when you say this is going to be the new normal. We need to put things in a right perspective and ensure that we have a win-win situation. As we are the facility managers, we have a lot of challenges wherein we need to have. One thing which I want to stress upon here is, Shashi, in the last 20-25 years, I think most of my friends in the group agree, when we do a CapEx or an OpEx, we never had this line item called incident/pandemic disease expenses. I think which we need to do it going forward. I don't know how many of my colleagues in these groups have made the business case. I'm sure an industry of our size where 1,500 people are working, when we go to offices, we need extra money. How do we create a business case and how do we take it forward? But challenges are plenty, but I'm sure with the kind of support we have in the fraternity and the kind of subject matter experts we have in the industry, we will be able to share the knowledge, and GACS will be in fast forward tune to support all this stuff, and we will be able to achieve our results, Shashi.
Yeah, Jay, but I don't think that the moment the humanity comes on the road, we are going to see these kind of images, what I've seen here. And that's what across the globe is looking like. The animals from the forest coming onto the roads. I saw one image where the lions are sleeping on the road. So the moment we get out of the lockdown and start populating our office spaces, we are going to find this kind of images very hard in the real life. And that's what the mythical urbanism is going to look like. We are getting into the new spaces. Rapid change in our perception of workspace is going to change our office spaces, our urban spaces into tactical urbanism, somebody calls. So let me just share with you what this lockdown is going, what this lockdown has inherently changed the way we are going to work. So you see, the young generation, the people like me and you who are going back to office are going to be more sensitive. We will be more conscious toward crowded spaces because we really don't know who's going to give what to us. And especially this coronavirus thing, we actually don't know where we even have it or not, or the other guy has it or not. You see this image on the top right-hand side, the first one. I actually see this happening in our spaces right now in the lockdown situation where people are actually keeping the 6 feet distance and talking to each other. And I have seen a lot of people doing this across. And the second thing, what is going to happen, we will have the digital empathy. When I say digital empathy, what I basically mean, when we are going to talk to each other like this, we are having this webinar, and then we are going to have a video conferencing everywhere. So you see this Professor Kelly, the middle picture, he was talking about Korean issue in BBC News, and in the background, his child walks into the room. And it was a viral, video, but now we are not going to do that. We know that these things will happen. So we'll have a digital empathy. Our colleagues and our bosses and our partners, we are going to give this leeway, and that's how the work from home is going to work more conducively and more efficiently. Then also the community awareness is going to happen, which will make aware that we are in this community, and this community where we live also is the place where we interact. And the moment you come from work from home, 40% of your time you're going to spend in your community, so you will be more attached. And then what I personally, I think is a very valid point, that we are going to see a lot of mental health issues. The moment, MIT study has done, the lack of social interaction is just like hunger. The craving for hunger, it creates in the brain. And this interaction, we are lucky, at least I personally believe in my neighborhood, that we are lucky to have people walking together, talking to each other within the house. But when you go to US and Europe, they live alone. And this is what's actually, a lot of people are talking about the mental health issue. And this will also be a major issue. Good for us that this coronavirus COVID thing has given us a technical jump. What we are supposed to do in terms of virtual reality, artificial intelligence, 10 years down the line, we are right now doing it, and we are innovating, and we are working on it, and we are very comfortable. Like this webinar would not have been possible if we had an opportunity to work on a kind of a personal discussion or kind of a forum discussion. And this is how it is going to change. And the ease and reliability from the work from home is going to happen. When there was an issue earlier, when our colleagues didn't feel that work from home is going to be conducive, this lockdown, this particular tectonic shift which has come due to COVID is going to make our work from home more efficient and more easy and more responsible. That's what I see. And going back to who is going to drive this change, the question is, a lot of people I've talked to, they say, no, it is not, it's going to be business as usual. I don't think so, Jay. Do you think going forward, the business as usual going to happen, Jay?
I doubt, Shashi, because it takes a lot of time for us to go back and then convince the stakeholders, and everybody wants to go very late because the COVID is such a thing where we don't want to take any chance. We have been having lots of meetings, both with the global teams and with the local teams. We have these ELTs, we have the local crisis management team. Things are not going to be normal at all unless we stitch a plan and we make sure that everybody falls in place and everybody tries to work towards this particular campaign. Otherwise, things are not going to be normal at all, Shashi.
Uh, Absolutely, absolutely. But so what's happening now? Who are going to drive the change? And I have a figure. I have this is my opinion, personal opinion. I feel there are three particular things, three particular areas, and the people who are going to drive this change. And the first is, of course, the leadership. Leadership has come to a situation where they really don't know how they're going to budget their inputs. Nobody knows how much it's going to cost us to go back to office. And so this leadership is going to drive and a symbiotic relationship with the design element in the office space. Now we are going to think in terms of how we are going to use this office space more effectively when 40% of our workforce is more comfortable and more efficient and more easier to get them to work from home. The second thing which will drive this new normal is the talent. Traditionally, you see, Jay, what happens is the talent drives the design in the office. This is what happened when Gen Zs and millennials came, and instead of working from a cubicle in a closed room, they drove the change into open office system. They wanted to collaborate. They wanted to talk to each other, and they don't want any boundaries. And they would like to work like this. And this talent, our HR and admin has to retain this churn. Otherwise, it is not going to work. The person will go from one company to the other company. And this retention is going to drive this change. And the third very important factor going forward post-COVID is the innovation. Now is the time, is a lot of people are working right now to do the innovation part, to balance it out, the expense part of it, as well as the efficiency part of it. And this innovation, as I said previously, that this tech jump of 10 years, now it is going to be short-circuited. In next 3 to 6 months, we'll see a lot of innovation happening in this space in terms of artificial intelligence, in terms of virtual reality, in terms of the way we are going to work from home, and the space for my own self. This is what I personally feel is going to happen. So what is the new norm? I personally feel the new norm is the leadership change. The new norm is the autonomy and freedom what we are going to get. The new norm in the office space is the race to innovate. This is what is going to happen right now. Going forward, the moment we go back to offices, there is going to be a huge race to innovate and to work. The young generation, the millennials and Gen Zs are going to drive another important aspect into our office is the biophilia and the environment. They are very sensitized now to understand this, that it has to work. And this is the way the Greta Thunbergs of the world are pushing for, and our talent, who we really want to retain, is going to do that. This is what I want, and properly we'll end up giving that. It might take some more money, or it might have more space for oneself, but it's going to happen. And finally, what I personally feel, this demanding talent pool is going to also talk about mental health. And that's where all these changes are happening. It is already happening now, Jay. You see, in London, they have created low emission zone. Paris has got a huge bike zones, and Japan, in terms of this Olympics, it decided to have a clean environment all around there. And that's what is going to drive. So I feel, and now I'd like to give some pointers on what I expect in terms of number is going to happen. From 80 to 20% flexibility, Jay, what is going to happen? I personally believe that 60% office will be occupied and 40% are going to work from their home or satellite offices. People like the co-working spaces are going to provide that space for satellite offices across, so that people don't have to commute from home to office, which is other part of the city. And considering Bangalore, it is really difficult to travel in those times. Then the other thing which is going to happen, 6 feet distance, that effectively cuts most of offices by half. The number of people in the space is going to be cut by half because of the 6 feet distance, which will happen. The other thing what I also believe is going to work, it is not the day-to-day working or the per day hourly cost. Now the cost is going to happen from activity based. People are going to talk in terms of activity. You do this, you get this. And this activity can be happening across anywhere in the space or anywhere in the city. And work from home is one option which is going to work very well on this. Coming to the brass tacks or terms of brick and mortar, I personally believe the office design is going to change into lighter design, into stage design. You see the theater production people, they have actually cracked it. And this is what the light fabric partitions, you can change the space. Just think, Jay, if we had this light design, tomorrow when you open office on 4th May, you could have actually changed the whole office into a very different office just by just changing the spaces. Right now you're stuck because of the wiring under the floor, the hard workstations and the partitions is going to change. And this is what is going to happen again. Coming to the sustainability and environment, our guys are going to be very, very sensitive to this. And we as our leaders at commercial real, especially in the commercial real estate space, have to think about it. How do we convince? How do we give the comfort level to the young guy that we are sustainable and environment friendly? And that is where our circular economy is going to come. I don't think it's going to be, very, very conducive to this kind of thought process. If we want, a model of furniture from Europe or carpet from Shanghai or Japan, it's not going to work. Everybody's going to talk about what we can do locally. And health hygiene is another very, very big change is going to happen post-lockdown. And workday ritual replacement. I will give you a story, Jay, about a fisherman. How do you think a day in the life of fisherman? The fisherman comes to the sea, he meets a lot of other fishermen, settles down with the net and creates and takes the net to the boat. This particular, the first ritual what he does while going to workspace, his workspace, is interaction with a lot of people, his community. And then he takes the boat and goes to the sea, and the whole day is alone. Whole day is fishing on the boat on the high seas. And when he comes back, then he again downloads and brings the whole load what he has fished, and then again the community comes together. And this is what is going to happen, Jay. We are going to, the young generation is going to sort out this ritual. Even if they are going to work from the home, they will have this ritual of getting into office environment, office space. They will first call the colleagues, they will call his reporting manager, and then talk to each other before he gets into the cocoon of his work from home space. That is what's going to happen. And very fundamentally, the Digitech is going to completely change. That's what we understand, which will be added by augmented reality, virtual reality, and as you said, Jay, for you, facility managers and facility people, admin and other people, tech surveillance is going to happen. And this is what is going to be big thing, which may also have the temperature scanners, the way you come into the office and the total hygiene stuff. And then we are going to see a very, very interesting concept that it is not going to be about the IT park where you are in. It will also be about what the urban areas around you are. People are not going to go to the cafeteria and sit there because there's 100 people there. They will find spaces like the public spaces, and public spaces, I hope it changes in Bangalore, that public space is going to be places from where this young generation who's working from home or from office is going to use. And the public space is going to have a lot of changes now. That's what I feel. So I think these are the things what I see as the next change into the whole thing. And in the interim, by the time you go back to office, Cushman Wakefield has created a one concept called 6 feet office. With this, we have advised almost more than thousands of offices in China, where we have created this 6 feet distance. You walk in the cafeteria in the clockwise direction, you come to the conference room from one door to the other. This is what is going to happen. So the 6 feet is going to stay, and that's where we are going to go. So do you have any inputs, Jay, on this?
Shashi, I think it's very good reflection on what is being done. I think this lockdown has completely slowed down the economy, and then most of us are going to spend a lot of time in reviving our fortunes with respect to individual, with respect to organization, with respect to society and community. What is more important is that we have a lot of friends in this group who are now willing to share their thoughts and ask you questions. I will now hand it over to Dennis, who could go ahead and ask few questions and reflections from the group. Dennis, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Jay and Shashi. I hope I'm audible now. Jay?
Oh, yes, you
Yes.
are.
So anyway, the first question, what has come in is 6 by 6 feet is a good to hear, but will it become reality? Probably this question is to Shashi.
Yes, Dennis. I personally believe it is going to be a reality. And in fact, it is a reality. Right now in China, as it's opening up, we are working with multitudes of clients with this 6 feet office concept. And we are already advised to a lot of people, and we are doing it. So it is going to be a reality going forward. Yes, it will organically change probably 6 months or 3 months down the line when we stabilize the whole process. Right now, going back to office is the challenge, and this 6 feet office is going to solve it. Does that answer your question, Dennis?
Thanks. Yes, I hope so. Maybe the next question says that cost of facility operation. Will management support? How do we budget this in our annual budget?
Dennis, I will take this question. Is there an option? And we need to definitely get an approval from the management, and for which we need to prepare a comprehensive, what do you say, a business case mentioning each and every element of this back to normal stuff. Back to normal is not a small thing, Dennis. Trust me, it has a lot of elements wherein it talks about the changes in the employee transport. It talks about changes in the cafeteria management. It talks about tons and tons of money which we need to put it on sanitization levels, and we need to have the sanitation areas in your office. This year, I'm sure if you make a comprehensive business case, management will definitely approve it. And going forward, I request all my fraternity friends that there has to be a new line in our capex and opex which says incidental / pandemic, whatever expenses. We need to budget it. If you don't budget it, who knows next year what happens. God forbid, we should not undergo this kind of a situation again.
Thank you so much, Jay. There's another question from Surendra Best. He says, too much hype created. There is a sense of fear among housekeeping staff. They come from different backgrounds. How do we train them and support them?
I will take
So,
this, Dennis. First of all, a sense of fear. Actually, it is a very challenging time. We are living in a historic time. It is a kind of a virus which does not have any, remedy. So the sense of fear, if it translates into a proactive decision, I think that is where we should go. And this is where our, the frontline people has to be sensitized. They have to be told that this distance, this separation has to happen, and they have to be, held accountable as well for that. Jay, you would like to add something to this?
no, just to add to Dennis, you said taking care of the housekeeping community, right? The cleaning staff in the organization.
Correct. Basically, support function days who are at a
Yep. We have
level.
to treat them in par with the employees because they're not the people from a different planet. The kind of treatment what we give it to employees, the same has to be done. For example, during the lockdown period, we had asked 30 to 40 critical people to come in. For the employees, we gave the transport, we gave the food, and it was extended to the security, it was extended to the housekeeping. Believe me, for security and housekeeping, we had a call. We had a doctor on call who's to come and meet the security and housekeeping people every day and document their temperature. And it is very important. These are the people who are going to be the ambassadors, who are going to be the protectors to take care of the entire community with respect to the employees in the organization, they should be treated in par and they should be given all kind of priority treatments, Dennis.
Okay, thank you, Jay. There's a question from Jay from Delhi. He says, isn't it important at this point to work with HR heads, also understand on the challenges they will face with resources, their mental health, team spirit, etc.? Jay?
I will take this question. It is extremely important to talk to everybody, not only the HR head in the organization. You have to have a kind of a small committee called local crisis management committee, wherein facility manager is the driver. You should have the local head of the organization, the HR head, maybe the procurement/finance head, and also the communication head. You guys have to meet every day in the morning, take stock of what's happening, take stock of what is being the guidelines being updated, and keep communicating to employees, because tons and tons of employees are working from home. They don't know what's happening. They may be getting WhatsApp messages from the organization point of view. They don't know what is happening. What we have done is that we are in communication with employees. We talk to employees and give them updates, weekly updates. For example, if something is not happening, we tell them work from home till further communication. Now there is so much is happening on 20th. We have kept them updated. We will come back to them on 21st. So keeping people updated and also talking to the internal stakeholders is very, very important. That brings you a situation where you can arrive at a very consensus decision with respect to whatever you are going to do for the community, which is our employees.
Yeah, Jay. Dennis, I would like to add into this. Please understand, the whole office design is driven towards employee retention to a large extent. So the HR people are very important aspect into this. And that's what they drive, because they need to find the right talent. They need to find the right kind of people who are going to work. So HR is, if not the, the change manager or the leader, but he's a very important part of this whole process.
Okay. Thank you, Sashi. There is, we have another friend of ours, Sarvana Raj, who has actually asked regarding the same 6 feet office, but he has also added another question. He says that how IT support will be going to happen in future in this connection.
Okay, Jay, would you take this?
Having worked with IT infrastructure, I would love to answer this question. Yes, it's a very valid question, Mr. Sarvana. And as Shashi said in his earlier statement, now we are going to have this satellite offices. We are going to have incubated offices. We are going to have the work from home concept. We are going to have co-works. If you look at, most of us are working from home for last 4 weeks. We have set up our infrastructure in such a way that all employees are working from home and the efficiency and delivery is at the same level. Yes, we have to take a lot of other things into aspect. Your ISP lines, your dongles, your VPN, your VDI machines, and how do you maintain your Citrix all the time working? All that has to be discussed, and you have to put more controls into space, into the Excel sheet, and make sure that somebody manages this and somebody monitors this and gives us an update to the group, so that in turn that is communicated to employees, wherein employees feel that they have an amazing infrastructure with respect to IT to work from wherever they are asked to.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Next question is from Christian from Singapore. Wow, this is for both of you, but any one of you can pick it up. He says, how do we visualize shift of offices to second, third, and fourth tier cities from metros going forward? Now that we know we can work remotely and collaboratively. Wonderful question.
Yeah, I will take this, Jay. I believe that any change has to happen from the top level, and it begins from the infrastructure level. So we have, kind of exploited the major cities to a large extent, and we have a lot of talent which is on the tier 2 cities. So when the technology is going to get enabled, and with this COVID situation, we have this this 10-year gap, and we are going to have this technology, very robust technology, to work from anywhere, whether from home or from the tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities. This will definitely give a lot of boost, Krishan, on this. And I personally believe going forward next 6 months to 1 year, we are going to see a lot of things happening in the tier 2 cities. I know for sure Capgemini and companies like that, they have started in Madurai and Trichy and many, many places. We have Ambala, Panipat, Meerut, Delhi, sorry, Lucknow, Kanpur. All these places are changing. And I'm not saying about Mysore or Sikandrabad. They're twin cities and we can manage. But a lot of things are happening on tier 2 cities. And I believe and I hope the government takes into this consideration and provide a lot of infrastructure to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. I hope this answers your question, Krishna.
Dennis, just to add to what Shashi said, I want to share a very important information here. I completely agree with Shashi saying that especially a metro city like Bangalore, we have exploited, abused, accused, and completely devastated the city. I was talking to one of my friends from the IPC fraternity, and he says, today in Indian real estate market, if you sell 10 square feet of office space, I'm only referring to office space, 4 square feet is sold in Outer Ring Road. That means from Bagmane Tech Park to the Microsoft office. Imagine the kind of load a city like Bangalore or Chennai or Delhi or Mumbai is taking. It is now very, very important for companies like us to find a second office or a satellite office in tier 2, tier 3 and tier 4, where you have a valuable skill set and you also have a lot of good infrastructure, and which is very important, where Shashi said government has to support and promote tier 2, tier 3 and tier 4 cities, which is very, very important, Dennis.
Thank you, Jay.
Jay, let me add one more quick point here, Dennis, sorry. Just let me add one more quick point here. The talent pool, the young generation is going to reject working for places like, congested places like Bangalore. They are going to reject. I know for sure many of the CRE heads are working from Coimbatore and they're working very fine. So, and the talent, the young generation is going to reject this kind of situation. Please take that into cognizance.
Good point.
Thank you, Shashi. Thank you, Jay and Shashi. Anyway, we are taking up the questions only related to this particular session. Anything related to other things, which we are coming up with other sessions also in the weeks. So be precise in these questions which you are posting on the chat box in this session related. Now the next question is Dhaval Pavaskar. He says, as far as Bangalore is concerned, the startup city and the IT capital of India that it is, how would this new normal affect startups, co-working companies, and in general the fit out on project management fraternity? Do you think since the increased importance and necessity of hygiene and sanitization would lead to bigger spike in facilities now? Jay.
Dennis, yes, very creative question what he has asked. Yes, Bangalore was earlier a startup city for all the companies, and now also it is a startup city. Definitely for startups it will affect because they are not established the way the other companies are established. Yes, there are a lot of companies who are coming with a kind of a tailor-made projects to support this kind of companies. For example, I was talking to one of my colleagues from the industry, and they are starting a project work in next 2 weeks. So what they have done is to bring in these employees into the floor. They have now constructed a sanitization tunnel, which is where the first control happens. And when you come into the offices, especially in co-working spaces or in incubated spaces, I'm sure a lot of companies have already implemented and they are in the line to implement the sanitization steps, wherein they are also going to do this. They are going to have an incubation center for people to check their temperature, and they have now imported tons and tons of these oxywear wipes, and they've got a lot of stuffs which are related to masks. And I must tell you, Bangalore is one place where you ask for anything, you can get it, but you need to put things in a proper perspective and give sufficient time. And I must tell you that things will be normal very soon, even for startups.
Thank you, Shashi. Sorry, thank you, Jay. Next question, this is from Nandan Bhatia. It is more towards health, but however, we'll just take it because you just touched upon that particular topic. What's your thought about changing the course of chronic diseases at work?
Okay, so Nandan, thank you for that question. And the shift in the thought process of the employees going back to office is towards very, very conscious on health and hygiene. And this is what traditionally has not been happening earlier. This COVID-19 situation has, kind of drilled into us by 4 weeks of lockdown and next 2 more weeks of lockdown to ensure that we are very conscious. As I shared an image earlier, now I'm seeing that people are conscious not to be close to a person while talking. And this all is going to get into our working culture and DNA. And that is where it is going to work from. And if it is not being done, I was having a discussion with one of colleagues earlier, I think Jay only, that if a person comes to office without mask, he will be asked to leave, which could not have happened, before COVID-19. And so this is going to happen, and people are going to take this into consideration, and we are going to see a lot of changes in this.
Shashi, just to add, Nandan Bhatia is a senior colleague from the industry, and I want to congratulate him that he is doing a great work through this app called RQ Setu, which is basically an app where you can easily locate an employee. It has its own advantages and disadvantages. Nandan, you should come forward and talk to the industry leaders and make sure that this particular campaign, what you are doing, is going to support to get rid of this COVID-19. If not sooner, maybe in the later part of this year.
Thank you, Jay and Shashi. Yeah, sorry, I'm just picking up those questions which are related to this session, because as I told you earlier, we have got other sessions also wherein you can pose those questions. So please excuse if I miss out on, if I skip certain questions. There's one question which is slightly related to the infrastructure only. He says, Ashok, this is Ashok, this question is from Ashok. He says, how do we address the issue of indoor air quality, which will be compromised if one positive case comes into facility?
Oh, very interesting question. In fact, most of the times when we are discussing this among ourselves, everybody starts talking about the AC ka kya hoga? Everything is there inside and everything. But yes, the moment you are specifically in terms of coronavirus thing, especially when you are there and it's already there in the system, it takes what I personally believe that it takes 8 to 12 hours for it to go away or die down, and whatever the air. But having said that, the air quality has already been an issue before even coronavirus. People have started measuring. I know for sure many companies we work with, they are talking in terms of air quality, and which has to be maintained, and now it will be further maintained.
I completely agree with you, Shashi. I completely agree with you.
The next question is from Captain Rajesh from Delhi. He says, he's asking that the question is to Jay. He says, since we are talking about new budget line crisis, and we also know we all will struggle with finances, what should IFM leaders do to save cost for their companies and pump in that cost under crisis budget?
Dennis, very, very valid question from Captain Rajesh. Tell me, when in any of us, don't we have saving cost is one of our first objective when we start working in any company or organization, because we have been by default told you have to save the cost irrespective of what is around in the ambience. Yes, when we have the situation called COVID-19, where the management is expecting us that we go to them with extra expenses, asking for extra budget items, they will come back to us, show us where you can save. And it is a catch-22 situation for us to understand where do we save. Because next 3 months, next 6 months, it's going to be extremely challenging. I don't see personally or professionally that there is any chance for us to save in any line item unless you are budgeted for something which is like a project kind of a stuff where you could tell them that I'm not going to do this. Can I get this whole money into COVID? It is going to happen. If that is not the case, I'm telling you, you cannot do both the things. But company will be very, very harsh on you if you don't do it. But it depends on your relationship with the management, the way you convince them and go back to them with a proper business case saying that if I don't do it this year, maybe I will look at it next year. but this year is very, very important. Let me spend this expense and give me approval for the extra expense. That should be the way forward, Dennis.
Okay, thank you, Jay. We have one question from Vishwa also, but that is more related to transport. So Vishwa, we will take up that particular question in your in our next session, which is next session, which is going to be on transportation. We have a question from Gaurav Khatri. What are sentiments or impact of already planned office space expansions and renovations? Plans of Q1 and Q2, vis-a-vis new leasing and absorption plans for Q3 and Q2? Very, very valid question. Jay or Shashi, anyone?
Yeah, Jay, I will take this. Okay, so already the firms and the business units which has already signed the leases, they are going ahead with those processes and deliveries. So that is not a challenge. The challenge is going to happen when you are going to hire. So what this is again my personal view, not from Cushman Wakefield side. What I personally believe that the new spaces, taking up new spaces, will be deferred for 3 to 6 months. That's what I believe, because it is a very fluid situation. And probably this will also work. We already have the government, directive that the IT spaces are going to be given rent-free to certain companies. The most of the CRE firms and will negotiate in terms of the leases. So I personally believe next 3 to 6 months, new large spaces is going to be challenged, but the people who have already taken a space, that work is happening.
Thanks, Shashi. There is one more question, a lot of questions anyway, I'm just filtering it out. So next question is basically on 5G, basically on IT infrastructure. Anything else which will provide better connectivity to people when we are dependent on internet to adopt the new norm? Basically, he is asking about the introduction of 5G and Wi-Fi and all those things. So they're trying to compare just in case if it doesn't come in or something like that. What is our next IT infrastructure preparedness?
So Jay, take this one. You're IT expert.
Yeah, I must confess that what I've seen in the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks, when we are working from home, most of us have a very high-end bandwidth-based internet lines. And that hardly gives us any chances to fail. But what we also have done is that as a backup, we have issued to some critical employees the dongles, the 5G dongles, which have a very good bandwidth, so that when they are working on VDI and Citrix machines, they will not be disturbed. But I agree with this question, because any infrastructure for that matter is not continuous and sustainable for a long term. And we are yet in Bangalore. Bangalore is basically a city which has a lot of experts in IT infrastructure and IT software. We are yet to arrive at a solution wherein everything collapses. What is the way forward? Which has not happened as we speak, which may not also happen as we speak. But right, given this is a situation where everybody is working from home, we need to talk to the experts and we need to ensure and talk to some of the big industries, what is the way forward when things like this happen, and how do we prepare ourselves for the next COVID 2 or COVID 2.0 kind of a stuff. That is what is in my mind, Dennis.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Jay. So we have another question from Gyanada Mohanty. He says, what will be the impact on building materials industry, especially interior fit-outs products? This is basically onto the business. Would be the impact on the industry, because there is again a big lot of people as well as experts working on those segments. Shashi?
Yes, I personally believe, and I'm very optimistic actually in terms of building fit-out and new offices. First thing I personally believe that I believe that India has handled situation in terms of lockdown, in terms of Corona challenge quite well. And that will give a lot of confidence to the firms coming in from US and specifically from Europe, who have traditionally not chosen India as a BCP plan or a next offshore destination. So that is going to happen. Second thing which is going to work more from the business perspective is the healthcare and tech firms. A lot of things are going to happen there. Having said that, the interior fit out, that question about interior fit out, it is going to double up immediately, because the distance you have to create. Earlier, when we were having 80 feet or 70 feet per person or 90 feet per person, now we are trying to talk in terms of 6 feet distance between people. So we are going to expand the particular office with the same number of employees. However, out of that, what, as I said in my presentation, earlier it was the 80-20 ratio about the people who are working in the office and out of the office, various for the leaves or various working from out of office. Now it's going to change. What I personally believe that is going to change to 60-40%. So expansion and this 40% away from the office. So it will settle down somewhere. I think we are looking at new offices expansion. So traditionally we are having 35 million to 45 million various numbers there per million square feet across India. It will expand. But having said that, next 6 months is going to be very challenging. No new business is going to happen suddenly. The business case has to be made, and all the CEOs and the heads and Jairam, CRE heads, are right now threshing it out. It will have a gap of 3 to 6 months, or in worst possible scenario, 1 year.
Thank you, Shashi. We have another question from Kapil Khera from Delhi. It is more to IT perspective, so probably Jai can answer. He says, "Hi, can we have some solutions to cyber threat, which we have by coming out of our firewall system?" So basically, talking about coming from a secured, infrastructure to a not so very secured infrastructure. So how does the entire, firewall system will work out?
Kapil, it's a very tricky question what you've asked, but the data privacy and firewalls are subject to kind of the systems what an organization has. It differs from organization to organization, because today most of the organization will not give you a full-blown laptop. That means that you have an inbuilt firewall already installed in your laptop, and we also have no kind of provisions to put your whatever external disk or stuff. That is not there. So going forward, that is what I said in my previous statement. There are challenges when it comes to data privacy, when it comes to kind of a cyber threat. And as an organization, what we are doing is that we have a department which is basically a risk department, which always tries and understand what are the challenges, and comes back to the organization and goes back to the governance bodies like NASSCOM, and we understand from them what are the measures and we implement it. But if you are asking me a specific solution as we speak, I can say we are yet to find that, but we need to be very careful in an organization-wide spectrum.
Thank you. Vijay. There are a lot of questions which are getting posted here related to health and all those things. Please note that we are coming up with another session on facility preparedness, which is going to be on the 22nd of April, Wednesday, between 5 and 6 p.m. So we will probably take these questions in those particular sessions. But currently we will go for the next question. They say it's a very, very wide question, and it says, what will happen to the measurement of productivity?
Okay, so let me answer this question, Jay. Productivity has always been, the smart bosses have always knew who's working. Okay, so I don't think that is going to be a challenge, because the results will work. And working from home, whether you're working with tie or without tie, does not matter as long as you deliver. So it was there earlier, and a lot of good companies have actually grown to like that. And this 4 weeks is proven that most of us can work productively from home. In fact, right now, I personally believe that I'm working more from home. And of course, my son is definitely working 24/7 from home. So I don't see that challenge at all, because ultimately you deliver.
Okay, thanks, Shashi. Anyway, next is a quite a tricky question.
Dennis, you got all the tricky questions in the last.
in continuation to what Shashi said, this question is from Ananda Nanjunda. Will the present office might not be sufficient?
Dennis, we lost you.
Now, just now you told that was also becoming a new norm.
Because I lost you, I guess.
Okay, it's a question from Ananda. It is asked that will the present office might not be sufficient for 6x6 concept? Will real estate demand increase?
Yes, I think in my previous answer, I have actually answered this. Demand is going to increase, and we are going to have a bigger space table. So let me go back to the open office culture, what was there earlier, what we were used to working, which actually, fit in a lot of good people together. And that was very good news for HR, admin, and the CRE heads like us and like Jairam here, that the budget and all these things. But now it is not going to happen. And they will demand, and you mind you that the thing is driven by champions. The companies, the Googles of the world, the LinkedIns of the world will drive it, and you have to follow. And it is going to happen. Take my words for it, my personal opinion. Demand is going to increase. In fact, I was hearing Karan Veeramani of WeWork, and he was talking that this is an opportunity. And they are actually trying to expand more. And they find this as a challenge and opportunity, and it's going to happen. It's going to be there as soon as we accept it, and the budgeted, it will be better.
Okay, thanks, Shashi. Anyway, we are actually we just short the timing, but I'll just quickly take another question. This is from Parthajeet Sharma. He says, "Hi Shashi, this is Partha from iDream. Any thoughts on how one can handle the trust deficit issue? Surveys indicate that because organizations are set up to measure output and not outcome, they are struggling to measure productivity with remote working. Trust deficit is the main cause behind this, especially when it comes from work being done by the younger lords."
Okay, nice question. And I think when Narendra Modi was going to announce 21 days lockdown, he actually did 1 day lockdown on a Janta lockdown, right? So he had, I believe, a trust deficit, so he tried it. Now this lockdown, 4 weeks of lockdown, trust deficit is already been tested and tried, and people are working. And going forward, is there any other way? It is not, because you don't know what can come next, unfortunately, and God forbid does not happen. But people have shown technology can solve most of the issues. I completely believe in that, and it will come to the rescue. And the innovators, there are a lot of innovators, they will find exactly when did you start working and how much did you do. It is going to be sorted out, no challenge there. It is just that we are not accepting it.
Thank you, Shashi. There's one question from Sanjay Saxena. He says, "Seems this could be a wonderful opportunity for occupiers. How landlords or developers and IPCs can leverage this kind of unique opportunity where space is going to get squeezed further, and it has cascading effect on other aspects of CRE, example FM manpower, consumables, etc." Maybe Jai can take this one.
Sanjay, it's a very good question. I think the order of the day is how do we maximize the resources which are available around us. Definitely with this COVID-19 situation, the real estate will take complete 360 degrees change, and organizations like us will be asked to cut down our size. For example, if you are planning for 2,000 employees for 2 lakh square feet, and if you go with a business case, the organization will say that they will only approve 150,000 square feet. And there are a lot of challenges built around it. The important point here for all of us here is to ensure how we are able to stitch our requirements and make sure that all these things are included in this. And as a facility team, we should also stitch the related expenses, which can be basically the support services cost, or it can be on the communication cost, or it can be the MVP cost, or anything for that matter. But I must confess, the real estate industry, the IPCs should leverage this and ensure that they give and provide to organizations a very minimal space where we could do a lot of activities and where we could achieve a lot of results.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Jay. And I think we are already off with the time, and we still have got close to about 40
Dennis,
questions.
if you give me, Dennis, if you give me 1 minute, I would like to ask you a question. You have been asking us. So,
Yes, please go ahead.
What do you think is going to be the next office space, in your opinion?
See, office space, it's a very different and difficult question to answer, because that is what we are all meeting here for. Because we are just trying to find out what all the other possibilities can be. Whether it is going to be work from home, how many percentage of people are going to be working from home, whether it's going to be having a 6 by 6 feet office space, how is the real estate scenario going to change, or how is the operation cost. So we will have to probably, the entire management and organization have to probably sit together and look at various aspects as far as cost is concerned, mental health is concerned, your productivity is concerned. Yes, this kind of a situation is a very, very new kind of a situation as far as organizations are concerned. But I think the kind of technology, the kind of modernity we have now, it also has become more complex for us to resolve. So we will all have to probably sit together and find out what are the different ways of balancing the entire, all the factors which are probably put into cross functioning of an organization. So there are a lot of things coming. Like if a person is from a, from a industrial background, he or she will probably say, no, I cannot, my people cannot work from home because we have the lines going on and all those kind of things. There are people who are from BPOs who cannot take their desktops home and work. So there are multiple, factors which are going to be deciding our as an industry. So we all have to probably come together and probably look at it is not a one-day solution, or we cannot have an overnight solution. It has to be worked out, put in across a lot of experts, experience, and all those other aspects, and then probably yes, we'll have to come back. It is very difficult to straight away tell yes, this can be done. So that's from my
Yes,
Dennis,
I think we are living in a historical times, and I hope things move for the good. Over to you, Dennis.
Dennis, I think most of our participants must be having the second meetings. They're all leaving. I think if there are no questions, we should take
all
one
right,
last
fine.
question. Dennis, are you around?
Jay, yes, Dennis is back.
Dennis?
Yes,
Is he back?
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm back. I don't know what. Suddenly there was one mistake. Anyway, so thank you all. On behalf of GSES Bangalore chapter, I extend a very, very hearty thanks to Jairam and Shashidhar. We call them Jay and Shashi. So for sharing very important insights and inputs on Workplace 2020, the new normal, especially on the returning of the unusual lockdown. And I also would like to thank all the participants. There has been close to about, I think about 150 participants or so peak time, who have taken out time from this from their schedules, and that too on a weekend, to attend this webinar. Hope this webinar has been a fruitful one and you have a lot of takeaways. Our next webinar is going to be on the 22nd of April, the Wednesday, next Wednesday. The topic is going to be facility preparedness. So a lot of people who have actually posted certain questions related to facility can be answered there. So please ensure that you join it. The invites will go in quickly. So thank you once again, all of you. And please ensure that you're all staying home and staying safe. The views, whatever has been shared in this particular session, are personal views of Jay and Shashi. So if you have anyway missed out any questions due to the paucity of time, so please do send it across your query to kchapter@gacs.world, we should try to revert as early as possible. So let us all be prepared to come back, like as Arnold Schwarzenegger said in Terminator, "I'll be back." So let's all be back with all the energy and power and willingness to come back and fight it out and accept and propagate the new normal. Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Dennis.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Take care. Thank you all. Take care.